Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Titan del 86. Here you will find everything from your favorite characters, from anime, series, or movies, such as figures, statues, trading cards, and other limited special edition items. I will show you everything that is included. For example, we will discuss the design of the box, how it's packaged, the design of the figure, the articulation points, the accessories that are included, and we will see our favorite characters in special scenes. And you never know, you might see other characters make special guest appearances, so you can decide whether it's worth getting or not. Subscribe and join me on new weekly adventures. Now let's start the show. Let's go. Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Titan del 86, and today from Naruto Shippuden, I present to you Itachi and Kisame. This is a statue done by Infinity Studios. Since the box is super huge, this is the best I could do as far as showing you the design of the box. So on the front is basically pretty bland with the title, but on the side you have Itachi. So here's a close-up of that design. Looking at the back of the box, it has the picture of the full statue depicting Kisame and Itachi wearing the straw hats, and then it's got the credits there. The box is decorated with some black lines. I think they wanted to be like tsunami waves, but in red. Then on the last side of the box, you have a close-up of Kisame. Here you can see he's holding Samehara. Now opening the box, you can see that it comes with some gloves, the certificate of authenticity. The gloves have the Infinity logo. As you can see here, I have number 108 out of 399. Then it comes with this black looking like credit card. Here you can see some of the designs on it. I'm not sure what that's going to do, but I guess we'll find out later. If you know what that is for, let me know in the comments, since I can't really read the text on it. Now looking at the instructions, you can see a quick overview of the content layout. Then on the next page, it shows you how to assemble the statue, which looks fairly easy. Then flipping it on the back, it finishes the statue. Here you can see the Infinity logo, and then you can see that it's divided into two sections. Opening the first section, here you can see some of the effect parts poking from the bottom of the base. Then you can see how everything's packaged. There you can see Kisame's head, the water effect parts, Itachi's head, and I think this looks like is Kisame's body with the flame effect part. Looking at the second section of the styrofoam, here's the base with the fire and water effect parts. There it appears to be Itachi's body with Samehara. Just so you know, the heaviest part of the statue is going to be the base. Now here's a quick look at all the content that comes with this package. First up is the two heads for Itachi and Kisame that have the hats. Itachi's body, you have the flame effect parts, some water effect parts. Then one thing that comes with the statue, I believe the piece on the right is something for you to dust the air off the statue. I'm not sure what the one in the middle is. Then the one on the left, to me that appears to be an ink pen. Here's a close-up of Samehara. You can see some of the arms there, the giant base, which looks very beautifully crafted. Some side pieces for the water effect parts. Kisame's body, the two extra heads and the head bust, the power cord since the statue lights up. So there's an overall of everything that comes with the statue. Now let's put it together. So this is the 360 of Itachi and Kisame. I chose these two hats first just to show you what the statue looks like when they're not wearing the hats. Here you can see that Kisame is ready to use Samehara and Itachi is going to do one of his jutsus. Overall, the design looks really well crafted. One thing that I have to criticize is just be careful because the paint seems to be very thin. Assembling the statue, in theory, it should have been really easy, but one of the biggest problems that I had was the dimensions of the tolerancing. Here, as you can see, Samehara is not really fully in its spot. If you look closely, the statue gives you kind of like a placeholder for Samehara to rest with Kisame's arm. So what happened was, as putting Kisame into the statue, his legs didn't really line up with the holes. So if you line them up on the one that goes on the right side, he becomes really wobbly, so he moves. So I tried locking it up by the second leg, which is the left foot. By using his left foot, the pin barely went in it. I couldn't get it all the way in. And what I realized is that even though on the right foot, the hole for that on the base was a little bit like an oval shape, but it didn't help. Overall, it wouldn't line up at all. So what I did here is I did the best that I could. I could barely get him in on the left foot since it was really tight, and I just didn't feel comfortable because the statue is fragile and I didn't want to break it. So Kisame is not really fully held onto it. It's just as far as I could put him down on the pinion. And the right foot is not at all in the statue. If you look closely, you could probably see what the pin is, and I'll show you once we get into the close-ups how much deep Kisame actually went into the statue. If you like what you're seeing, don't forget to leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and share the video. Itachi had the same problem too. The good thing that made Itachi a little bit easier was that he's only held by the left foot going down into the pin. For that one, I too had to shove him in there. It was really hard. It was like almost had to hammer him in there just to get him to fit. But one thing that I could tell you is that he's not going to come off that base anymore. Just because of how hard it was to press him into the base, I have a feeling if you try to remove him from the base, he's probably going to end up breaking it. So that's something that I don't want, especially with the statue since it seems to be super fragile. So because of this, it made assembling the statue somewhat difficult, so I'll give it a 3 out of 10. But if I didn't have those problems, I would just say it would have been a 1 out of 10 slam dunk. It would have been very easy. I really like the concept of the statue. You have both Itachi and Kisame since they were paired together. Here, the effect parts reflect both of their natures. Itachi with the fire and Kisame with the water style. So it rounds up the design of the statue very well. I wish I could say the same thing as far as the quality goes, and we'll get into those details later. For this being the first Infinity statue, I'm not sure if this is something that they normally do or it just happened to be on mine. One thing to note is that the statue is very fragile, and to me the paint is super thin. If you use your Sharingan eyes on it, the paint will just slide off. It's really easy to scratch. Don't forget to follow me on IG at Titandel86. Let me know in the comments what do you think of these two Akatsuki characters.
Itachi Uchiha.
Here's a view with the LEDs turned on. As you can see, it's got two settings. This is the first setting of the base. When you plug it in the first time, it's just a solid light, but push it a second time and it starts to do kind of like a flickering, which I'll show you next. If you like what you're seeing, don't forget to leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and share the video. Overall, the light effects do look very well on the statue. Towards the bottom, it looks green because you have both the red and the blue lights kind of clashing together. So it kind of gives it that green look, but in theory it's supposed to be blue. Don't forget to follow me on IG at Titandel86. One thing about the statue is that they overdid with the effect parts, which takes off most of the weight of it, and it's basically most of the body of the statue. But it does have a 50-50 balance between the two characters and the effect parts. It's not like other statues where they get engulfed by the effect parts and then you're left with this tiny figure that you can barely see. I think here Infinity Studios did a good job on the perfect balance between effect part and character design, where Itachi and Kisame take both half of the stage, and then the effect parts take the other half. So it's like a 50-50.
Well then, I suppose I should introduce myself. Hope we can get acquainted later. The name's Kisame Hoshigaki.
For this one, I cut the lights off just so you can see how bright the lights are. And then I also did it with the second setting, which has the articulating light. So you can see how it goes from dim to bright every other second. If you like what you're seeing, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and share the video. So it does look amazing. The design and everything is very good. It's just the quality of the statue that I didn't like. It was very brittle. The dimensions between the feet and the attachment points on the base were way off. I don't think they calculated the exact dimensions. Like I said, Itachi barely fits on his attachment point, and Kisame, I just couldn't get him at the inside the base at all. He's barely holding onto that first pinion from where it just got stuck, just because of the tight tolerancing on the pinion. Let me know in the comments what are your thoughts on the statue, and if you have one, did you have the same difficulties that I had as far as fitting the characters into the base? I would really like to hear that feedback from you. Don't forget to follow me on IG at Titandel86.
Yeah. Should be easy then. Let's go.
On this one, I swapped out their heads to use the ones with the hats. The one that went for Itachi, that was fine. There was no issues there. The Kisame one was a completely different story. One thing to note is the minute you attach Kisame's head into the rest of the body, those drawstrings, they just scratch off. They're going to scratch his back regardless. That's why I feel like this statue, the quality was not the best. You already have the dimension problems, but now you have that the paint is super thin. Any little scuff mark or whatever will automatically strip the paint. And here's where you can really see the flaw in the statues. Just look at how Itachi's is versus how Kisame's is. If you look in the bottom of Kisame's, here quickly you can see that one of the tassels is basically on the bottom of where the head attaches to the body. Now Infinity Studios, I think here you really missed the mark on the design. Either that or the guy on the line didn't know how to glue the pieces to the hat. Because this, I just don't see how you expect this to go on the statue and still function without breaking it off. Because I'm pretty sure these little pieces are really brittle, so the minute this thing goes into the statue, it's automatically going to break off, which is what happened here. To get these pieces on, not only did it scratch the back, and I'll show you guys the scratch marks that are left behind Kisame, but this is just a really crappy design. I think out of all the statues I've had, this statue by Infinity Studios is by far the worst. Quality was really bad, and the execution as far as character designs, I did like that, but here is just a big flaw that you can't really turn around for. The whole point of the head is to attach on the body, but yet you blocked it. This is just bad execution. Not to mention, this is the second statue I got. The first one that I did receive, a portion of the base was broken, but in that one, just being fair how Infinity packaged the figures, I think that one might have just been broken just because of how big the base is and how heavy it is. So I think that was just more on negligence on the packaging. But this one here, This is on you guys. I mean, right here you can tell right off the bat that this is not gonna work. And it didn't. This is just bad. Let me know in the comments if the Kisame head is similar to the one you see here. Along with the giant statue, Infinity Studio also give you two bodies so you can put the spare heads that you're not using on the main statue. So this is the first one with the Kisame. In the front you can kind of see he's wearing the Akatsuki cloak, and they just added that tab which basically has the Akatsuki symbol. You could also swap them out with the other ones where they're wearing the straw hats. I just chose not to do that just because of what happened with the Kisame one. All it's gonna do is end up damaging the back of the statue, and I didn't want to have any more scratch marks, especially on this one. And I chose to keep the other ones with the straw hats, since to me that made more sense than having these two particular ones have the straw hat, because to me the purpose of these two statues is so you can see the full expression, so it wouldn't make sense if they were already hidden. I believe out of the two sets of head sculptures that you get, to me these two are the best ones. Same as the Kisame, it's got Itachi wearing the cloak. You can see his necklace. He's got the Sharingan eyes. On the front is the Akatsuki logo of the red cloud. And again in the bottom, you can kind of see the Hidden Leaf Village symbol on the headband that is crossed out. Both of these statues on the bottom, they have like a felt tape, so it gives it that fancy feeling so it doesn't scrape the bottom. They do have some decent weight to them as well.
Boy, Itachi, it looks like they hate you as much in this village as they do in mine.
Now let me give you a close-up shots of the statue so you can see the details that Infinity Studio placed on these two Akatsuki characters. Here's a close-up of the fire and water effect parts. Now here, if you look closely, you can see how Kisame's legs are not fully in there. Hopefully you can see the details there. As you see there, he's barely on there. Here's a close-up of Kisame wearing the hat. Design-wise, it is fine. I just don't like how they did it as far as the quality. I think they could have did a better job. One thing that concerns me is that I have the Deidara statue and I also have the Sasori statue, which are both by Infinity Studios, which I hope it doesn't turn out to be like this one, because this one was a big disappointment, honestly. I hate to say it, but this is the worst statue that I've done on this channel so far. This one takes the cake. That's why I'm curious to know if it was just my statue or those that purchased this one had similar results on it. Because the design is beautiful and nice, it's just the craftsmanship that went into the statue that was very poorly done. Here's a close-up of the ring. A close-up of Samehara. If you like what you see, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and share the video. Overall, like I said, to me, this was the worst statue that I've gotten in my collection so far. I like the execution, I like the design. It was just the craftsmanship that really sucked on this one. It is very fragile, the dimensions are way off, and again, it was just poor execution on the Kisame head with the tassels on it. You guys let me know in the comments what you think of the statue, but to me, seeing this, and if this is across the board, this is not really one that you really want to have if you want to use with the tassels design. I think if you want to use it with the regular heads, that's fine, but for the expectation here, this is by far the worst one I got. Let me know in the comments that you had the same experience if you were one of the ones that ended up buying this statue. I really like the concept and all that, but I would say if you can, just skip this one and just try to find another one, because this one, if this is what they did across the board, this was a letdown, which is very sad because this is one of the major statues I was looking forward to having, especially since I'm on the quest of having all the Akatsuki members in statue forms. So I'm really concerned with the two other Infinity statues that I have, if they're gonna have the same quality issues. But I have a feeling if this is the same across the board with the other Infinity statues, probably won't be buying another statue from Infinity Studios. This is all I have for you today. If you like what you're seeing, don't forget to leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and share the video. And I'll see you next week with a brand new one. Thank you and bye.
Interesting. I'll give you credit for guts.
No, Kisame. We're pulling out. We're not here to fight a full-scale battle. Tempting as it may be, it's not the way to do this.